What is up, everyone? Thank you, as always, for tuning in to Miles TV. Today, I want to talk about something a little different. Inspiration as a dungeon master, game master, whatever you want to call it. But today, I want to talk about one of my campaigns as a DM. And if you don't know it, I'm a DM. I play Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletops alike. I love doing it. I've had fun doing it since I was introduced to my first tabletop campaign, which was called Heroes Unlimited. Whew. But ever since then, I've branched out on my own and eventually became a dungeon master. And once you become a dungeon master, you could say goodbye to being a player for a very long time. But anyway, I wanted to talk about one of my campaigns. I made this campaign not too long ago. It's probably been about a year and a half now that I've thought about this campaign. It is a futuristic sci-fi body snatcher campaign. This campaign was inspired by Guillermo del Toro's Cabinets of Curiosity, specifically episode 3, The Autopsy. And also Grant Milky of the Homebrew channel. If you are listening to this, you've inspired one of my campaigns. But Grant is the DM for this channel, this network called the Homebrew. His first original campaign that they put out, it's a futuristic sci-fi space campaign. They call it a space opera, which I mean makes sense. But there's a specific part in it when they get stuck in, spoiler alert, they get stuck in simulations and they have to like go through all these simulations, and they get to this one where like they're just regular people in a D&D world, and just like they're just these average Joe Schmoes pencil pushers. And I was like, I can make a campaign out of that. Body snatchers, space, yeah. So of course, once you get that inspiration bug, you start writing, you start creating. And full disclosure, one of my biggest dreams is starting my own diverse podcast, finding a group of people and just doing my own thing and putting it out there. And when I thought of this idea, I was like, I should do this as a sci-fi podcast thing. But anyway, so just tell you a little bit about this campaign. Not going to be too long. I'm going to keep this around, 10 minutes or so. But this campaign is called Seeking the Hive. I have 5 players. Originally I had 6. My best friend's in it. And I randomly, I got a idea from Andy, who is also on the Homebrew campaign. Join their Discord. They're nice people. Go talk to them. But Andy was like, hey, if you're looking for players, go do it how I became a part of this. Go on Reddit, LFG, looking for groups. And I did that, and I got a whole bunch of awesome people. One rules lawyer, though. One rules lawyer. But he's great. And we play every Friday. So this campaign is called Seeking the Hive. I created 2 populations, 2 towns, one called Van Barto City. Van Barto City is like the upbeat, hoity-toity rich folks. And then you got another one called Rotbog. Rotbog is the slums. You go there when you don't have much. The poor go there. There's always like fires and stuff. And it's just a criminal city. So, and they're the polar opposites of each other, and they are right next to each other. One thing about Rotbog is that it is always covered in this, I think, it's been a while, but it's always covered in this blue hue that everything has a blue or green tint to it, and nobody can really figure out why. So I set up the story for these 2 cities so great. I did this like intro thing, this prologue. We did a good session 0, and I warned my players beforehand. I was like, hey, don't get attached because I'm gonna immediately detach you from these 2 cities. So, we have Zuki, who was some kind of a salesman, and they're a fighter. They're a half-elf fighter working for a corporation called Celestial Enterprises. And then there's Connor, Coronius Arkin. He is an Asimir from this church, this devout church. And then we have Kevin Tuxon. He is a 16-year-old kid that's in school that gets in trouble a lot, and he's been in one of my previous campaign, and we're saying like his lineage of family is passed down from that. So there's a lot from there. And then you have Tig Oziah, a 10-year-old monk. And I gave them very little to work with. I was just like, hey, create a character if in a modern day D&D world. And there was this big game coming up. Where like it was very much like a big sports game. Think of like D&D modern day gauntlet arena football sports. And everybody was building up to go see it. It was a couple of days. But every couple of hours, every few days, there would be this static that comes on the radios or the TVs or anything like that, and nobody could make it out what was happening. So eventually the day of the game comes, and leading up to that game day, things were like really becoming weird. There was people just acting weird, disappearing, news reports of like so-and-so's missing, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, day of the game, big game happens, big event. The projectors, the TV screens go off, and the static shows up again, and this big buff, big fat hippo guy walks onto the screen, and he's like, hey, I've been telling you guys for about a week now. Are you guys prepared for us? Are you ready for us? And these hippos, the GIF, have been reaching out to Earth to tell them, hey, there is a parasite on your planet that's infecting everybody. We need to come help you deal with this issue before it gets out of hand. So the GIF shows up on this big TV screen and tells everybody of this, finally gets through, and of course pandemonium breaks out. They land the ship in the middle of this arena, and by then it's too late. The parasite, the infectious hive mind parasite, has noticed the GIF, knows what they're up to. They decide to put the plan into motion. Then our heroes run away, go to their homes, and they're just like, okay, well, the government's gonna handle this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They eventually, through shenanigans and through events, their parents get infected, and their parents try to infect them. They immediately like, no, let's get out of here. Slowly, the news is telling everybody like the world's being infected. They get the idea to run back to the stadium where the GIF was helping like control everything. And by control everything, they're just killing off everybody who's infected. When they all meet back up and get to the GIF ship, everybody is basically overran at this point. They get the bright idea of stealing the GIF ship, and they figure out how to launch the ship into space. And somebody ends up saying like, hey, we need to go to the GIF's homeworld. And the ship's AI kicks in and says, returning to homeworld. And my players are blasting off through space to go to the homeworld of the GIF to figure out what's going on. And that so far is the beginning of my campaign. If you guys want to hear more about how this campaign's going, more about the characters, more about like the world, let me know and I'll do another video like this. But that's one of my babies. Just let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for tuning in to Miles TV. Bye.